All right, today we're going to talk about something called the Atlas T framework. And trust me, it's this really powerful way of seeing why things fall apart. It helps explain that super frustrating feeling when something that seems to be going great just suddenly breaks. This applies to everything, from huge companies all the way down to our own personal projects. I mean, we've all seen this happen, right? You've got a team or a company, maybe even a whole city, and it's just firing on all cylinders. Everything looks perfect, and then boom. The minute some real pressure gets applied, it all starts to crack. It's this maddening mystery, but it's one we are absolutely going to solve today.
So what's the first thing we blame? Growth. We always say, oh, we just grew too fast. But what if that's not the cause at all? What if it's just a symptom? The Atlas T framework says, yeah, the real problem, the thing that actually caused the collapse, is some hidden flaw that's been buried in the foundation of the system from the very beginning.
Okay, so how in the world do we find that hidden flaw? Well, this framework gives us a map. A really simple one, actually, made of just 4 shapes. You can think of them as clues that, when you put them in the right order, tell you everything you need to know about how healthy or unhealthy a system really is. So our journey starts with the triangle. This first shape is all about one thing: absolute clarity. What are we actually trying to do here? What is our purpose? And just as important, what are the rules we will not break? If you don't have a really sharp, well-defined triangle, your system is basically a ship without a rudder. It's just going to drift. But a clear purpose doesn't do any good if it's just stuck in one person's head, right? And that's where the circle comes in. The circle stands for all those vital connections between people. It's the communication, it's the trust, it's the stuff that turns a single clear purpose into a shared purpose. Okay, so now we have a shared purpose and good connections. But that can get a little chaotic, so we need the square. The square is the structure. These are the processes, the rules, the actual infrastructure that holds everything together and gives it some stability. Think of it like the load-bearing walls of a house. It's what lets the system handle stress without falling apart. And here's the kicker. Only after you have that clarity, the connection, and the structure, only then can you finally get to the spiral. Now, this isn't just about getting bigger. It's about sustainable growth. It's adaptation. It's learning. This is the point where a system can finally expand without collapsing under its own weight. So there you have it, our 4 shapes. But just knowing the pieces of the puzzle isn't enough. The real magic of this framework is in the very specific order you have to put them together.
This right here is called the generative path. It's the blueprint for building something that's actually meant to last. You have to go from triangle to circle to square and then to spiral. That sequence is totally logical, and more importantly, it is absolutely non-negotiable. You start with why, then you build the who, you stabilize with the how, and only then do you get to grow.
And this is probably the most important insight of the whole thing. Anytime you skip a step, like say you try to build a rigid structure, the square, before you've actually built trust, the circle, you are literally embedding a hidden flaw deep inside your system's DNA. You might not see it at first, but that instability is just a ticking time bomb waiting for the pressure of growth to set it off. And this is where things get really cool, because this map doesn't just show us how to build things correctly, it also gives us an incredibly precise tool to figure out exactly what went wrong, which solves that whole mystery of sudden collapse we talked about at the beginning. Pay close attention to this next line, because it is the absolute core idea of this entire framework. It's this: growth does not create failure, growth reveals failure. All that burnout, all that chaos, all that collapse, it's not growth's fault. Growth is just the spotlight that finally illuminates the cracks that were hiding in the shadows all along. So when a system is failing, what we see on the surface is almost always happening at the spiral level, the growth level. We see people getting burned out, we see projects grinding to a halt, we see chaos, and we see the system just completely lose its ability to adapt. But these are just the symptoms, they're not the disease. So what do? Our first instinct is usually to just slam on the brakes and stop all growth. But Atlas T tells us that's exactly the wrong move. The real solution is to use the exact same map we used to build, but this time we're going to trace our steps backward to find the real source of the problem. So, starting from all those painful symptoms we're seeing at the spiral level, we start our investigation by taking one step back. Is the problem actually in our square? Are our processes just too brittle to handle the load? Is our infrastructure just completely overloaded? Or maybe the rules themselves are actually encouraging the very behavior that's causing the breakdown?
And if we find the structure is weak, we don't stop there. We ask, why is it weak? And maybe we find the problem goes even deeper, all the way back to the circle. Has trust just completely eroded between teams? Is communication a total mess? Are people basically fighting each other instead of working together?
And honestly, more often than not, when you trace the problem all the way back to the beginning, you find it. The true source of the collapse, that original crack in the foundation, started with a failure at the triangle. The goals got fuzzy. That shared sense of purpose got lost. And without that solid core of clarity, nothing you build on top of it can ever be truly stable.
And this right here is the real power of the Atlas T framework. It completely shifts our focus away from blaming people and toward diagnosing the system. It's not about tearing everything down and starting over. It's about making a precision repair.
And here it is, the entire framework in one beautifully simple idea. You've got the same map, the same four shapes, and it works in two directions. You move forward, triangle to spiral, to build something new. And you move backward, spiral to triangle, to figure out what's broken and fix it. It's one tool for the entire life of a system. So the big takeaway is this. Instead of just putting endless band-aids on the symptoms you see at the growth level, Atlas T lets you trace the failure all the way back to its real origin, the very first step that got broken, and fix the actual problem. You don't have to throw everything out and start over. You can go back, repair the foundation, and make the whole structure sound again. This framework is just such a powerful new lens for looking at the world. So as you go about your day, look at your own projects, your own teams, your own organizations, and ask yourself this: when the pressure gets turned up, what hidden crack is growth revealing in your system? And where did it really begin?